There's a few really good things about the con. I mean, everything's quite close together. You don't have to travel really far between, you know, the hall with the booths and tables and where they have the panels. And also they're doing the system where you get the tickets for a panel an hour in advance. And so you don't have to do this whole queuing up malarkey for the panels, which I think is a really good system.
Hi, my name is Kevin. This weekend at DICE, I'm launching a platform called Collateral Comics, which is a platform for independent comic creators to post and sell all their comics online, digitally. A creator who lives and works in Ireland can now access an audience in America, South America, mainland Europe.
Yeah, so I just met Kate Leff, and I'm like 75% sure I didn't make a total idiot of myself. She was really, really lovely and amazing, and I got Seeing Red, and she drew a picture of Marceline and said keep it scary, and I also got a very, very cool patch that says lesbian.
Hey folks, this is High Fantasy, this is One, this is Shu. They are both comics. Amanda draws them, Hugo writes them, and I do things to them.
I just met Kieran Gillen, which is very exciting for me. Also, because he's such a gent, and he drew me little pictures on my comic.
The great thing about DICE is that the independent creators really have a voice here, and they're not overshadowed by the bigger names. That even though they're upstairs in their guest sanctuary, they're really cool, and they just talk to you like normal people. You know, they're not too intimidating to talk to you about the craft and what they're creating. I really feel like it's an event that makes the industry seem accessible.
We just came out of the image panel, which I think was particularly interesting because there was so much I didn't know. Figure out how their royalty system works, how their open submission system works, the way that the editorial system is different, because obviously in publishing houses like DC and Marvel that have their own huge internal universes, I mean, editorial control is so much more important, but in a publishing house where different books are not meant to be canonical or even passingly canonical with each other, editorial control becomes less significant beyond the obvious editing. Frequently I find industry panels can be really dry, and people are so careful about what they're trying to say, and they don't know, you know what I mean, they don't know what they're trying to be professional, and they're trying not to offend anyone, so they tend to end up not telling you anything useful. But I feel like the industry panels of this have been really focused, because I feel that's a real focus of the entire event. It's not just a fan event, though it is a fan event, we're all fans, but I think that's so much easier to do with comics than other industries, because the creators are the fans and the fans are the creators. So I think you can make something like this that is both a fan event and a creator event so easily.
Time for the post-con review.
Yeah, I mean, generally very positive. You can see that from looking around, that it was a really great feel. We did 3 panels on the Sunday in a row.
A heroic effort.
Yeah, it was a little intense. So the first one was Wicked and the Divine, which was really great and discussed a lot like the themes and archetypes and stuff, but we're gonna save that for when we review
when the first collected
volume
comes out, and we'll spend a whole video talking about the Wicked and the Divine,
which I'm excited for.
I mean, we could basically start a whole channel about Wicked and the Divine.
I definitely
easily.
And then there was the art panel.
Yes, the art panel, which I brought Orla along to.
No, I was interested. I was listening.
A little ready that snuck in.
Yeah.
No, it was really. It could have been a bit better. Like it wasn't as good as the Writing for Comics panel, which was the previous day, which was a lot more generalistic about like the process of writing for comics and stuff. Whereas the Art and Comics one was more about just each individual artist's work. But that's still interesting, because then you have a bunch of professionals all in the room talking about their processes and the differences and the similarities, and like digital versus traditional, and it's just really interesting insight into people who have been working for a very long time.
Probably our favourite panel from the day was Comics Are For Everybody, which was really great and really enthusiastic and genuine. Oh, and I feel like I should say that the DICE has a really comprehensive anti-harassment policy, which is like really prominent on their website. Not all cons have this, though they all should, and so I feel like some kudos should be kind of sent in the direction of the organisers for that one. And I feel like that came across in the organisation of this panel, and the people in the panel. They weren't just there because they felt like there should be a panel on diversity. These were people who are genuinely passionate and genuinely working, you know, they're in the comic industry actively working towards a greater diversity in comics, whether it be through writing more diverse comics, or say with like Kate Leff, and the Valkyries.
The Valkyries being a group online for women who work in comic shops or own comic shops or generally work with the distribution of comic books in a shop.
Yeah, and so it's like this great little support network.
Yeah, it's
that
a support
Caitlin
network.
started. And so that was really interesting to hear her talk about, you know, setting that up and the people she'd met through it. And then Jordi Belair was on the panel, who's just like really passionate, and she's great. And she's the one who, those Comics Are For Everybody t-shirts that you may have seen floating around the internet, which is actually, you know, what the panel was named after. That was like Jordi who started those. There was such a genuine feeling behind the panel. It was really interesting.
There will be a more coherent video up soon.
Yes.
We're very tired. A lot of conning is done.
See you next week, guys. This is fake grass. Everything is wrong.
Nothing is real. Art is a lie. Nothing is real. Also, that was a baby.